This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party live on a Hide in Your Cave Monday. Thank you for being here. So nice to have Mark Thompson back on the big show, and I'm glad you're here too. Please click subscribe if you haven't, and click the like button as well as we start the show. Thank you to everyone who's contributed via PayPal, and with the Super Chat Super Stickers, they're open too here on YouTube, a crowd-funded show, so thank you for helping to fund it. Thank you also to Teacher Lori for sending so many great articles and messages over the weekend. I do appreciate hearing from you. What are you guys talking about? I hear that someone is upset about, what is it, the heat? Sandy says, I'm mad that it's supposed to reach 70 in San Jose later this week. I'm really, really pissed. Well, you know, I 70 seems to be pretty nice. I don't know what the problem is there, but here in the North Bay, it's super, super rainy. So I don't know what the weather is like where you are, but yeah, it's at least it's not a tornado touching down. Can you believe that happened in Scotts Valley? Just crazy. Well, let's get right to some of these stories because I do have a couple good ones. One of them about the communication that we have with dogs. And this story does come with some video too. I thought it was super interesting. It talks about how dogs can use these communication boards to speak with us. For real. There's a scientific assessment that has been done with dogs. They say they're using button boards deliberately and in ways that are distinct from their owners. A study was done, published in the journal Scientific Reports, that finds certain two-word button combinations can't be explained by chance, and that dogs may be willfully stringing together short phrases. They're asking for things, according to studies researchers, that are reasonable for dogs. They're not purely matching training. The combinations are non-random. This study done at the University of California, San Diego, at the Comparative Cognition Lab. So it's about the way dogs communicate with us. And there are these boards that have phrases. There's a video of what the dogs did during this study and how they may be trying to tell us more things than we realize, which is fascinating because you wonder what's going through your dog's mind as they sit there and look at you, right? Check it out. Hopefully I don't get a TikTok message. Yeah. So I don't know if I can make it louder. But there's the button board. And the owner says, no what? No to what? And the dog touches a word and then touches another one. So it's about how these dogs, you don't want to go for a walk? She says the owner or the dog caretaker. What do you want? What do you want? After, the dog says. After what? She says. And you could argue that it's just random. No, it's random. The dog says when it's all done being cold, apparently. You want to go on a walk when it's all done being cold. So, I mean, could it be that the dog is just tapping on things and not really meaning it? I don't know. But it's an interesting concept that these dogs are having something to say. Yeah. Did you see that? Could you guys see that? Or am I watching it on my own? I think I might be watching it on my own. Let's see if you can see it here. Oh, you know what? It opens up another screen. I'll try it again. I don't know if you saw. Anyway, the bottom line is the dog is tapping the screen and tapping the button board. And so is it really the dog just randomly tapping the board, or is it the dog trying to communicate and truly saying something of import? They've done the same type of study with chimpanzees and other types of creatures. But this new dog research, they say there's an added benefit for studying domestic dogs in a comfortable home environment as opposed to a lab setting. So they relied on dog owners who trained their pets to use these buttons to track the activity. They recruited people online. They had people report every time their dog or they or their dog pushed a button. And the study analysis data included 152 dogs. Each of the dogs interacted with the soundboard about 200 times over a 21-month period. 194,901 instances of dogs pressing these buttons. And more than 56,000 of them were multi-button combos. The button labels were standardized into categories like food, kibble, dinner, this type of thing. Most dogs press buttons related to their routine activities, like those in the food, play, go outside, or potty. So it doesn't surprise me that dogs were communicating. I have a friend, and maybe you guys do this too. She has this bell on her door, and she trained her dog that every time the dog goes out to pee, they ring the bell. And so now when the dog goes out, the dog goes to the door and rings the bell. I tried it with my dog. My dog wasn't having any part of the ringing of the bell. But they sell these bells on strips that you can hang from your doorknob because dogs are that smart, able to communicate by ringing, by pushing, by doing some type of thing with their paw. And we know from other studies that dogs do know words. So it doesn't surprise me that when given the opportunity to communicate with words on a board, that somehow this would be something they would do. All right. This is just the cutest picture. Sadly, though, this bird is on this dashboard of a sergeant's patrol vehicle because it was injured. So the sheriff's department gets a phone call in Arizona, and the sheriff goes out and they call animal control. And the county sheriff's office said the animal control officer did respond to Littlefield, which is the area where workers spotted a falcon that they thought had a broken wing. So the officer relocated this falcon to a cardboard box, put the box on the passenger seat of the car, and the sheriff's office wrote on social media that a call was made to the local vet's office, who informed officers that it appeared this bird had a wing injury and that it shouldn't be able to fly. Not true. The bird apparently flew around the sheriff's car. Not good. The bird flew out of the box right onto the dashboard where it paced back and forth, hissing at the animal control officer. Eventually, it calmed down and it was taken to a rescue in Hurricane, Utah for rehabilitation. But how cute is that bird? So sad it was so stressed out, but it is getting the help that it needs, so that's good. This beautiful creature. This story about this whale, humpback whale, who has set a record. He's a really good swimmer, this one. He made a record-breaking migration. So usually they say it's about 4,000 miles or a little over one way for a humpback on their migration path. But this male humpback whale made the journey from South America to Africa, traveled more than 8,100 miles one way. And this study shows it's the longest migration recorded for a single whale. It's also the first documentation of an adult male humpback traveling between the Pacific and the Indian Oceans. This humpback was first spotted off the coast of Colombia in 2013, seen again just a few years later, not far from the original location. But in 2022, this whale was unexpectedly detected in the Indian Ocean near Zanzibar off the coast of East Africa. This is a journey close to 2 times of what most whales do. The study published in the Royal Society of Open Science. The co-author of the study said these animals are distinct individuals and they do surprising things. These oceans are very much connected spaces and the whales just travel beyond borders. They track this whale's migration patterns by using a platform called Happy Whale. It allows citizen scientists, researchers, and whale watchers to contribute photos of the whale sightings. So, this is just one of these cases where, given citizen reports, science reports, the whale was easy to track because of the underside of its tail with a unique identifying pattern. So, it was easy to figure out that this is the same whale. And they say that Happy Whale has really made a big difference, a huge opportunity for sharing and networking to make this research on these whales in more of an inclusive thing. That's kind of cool. Boy, that's a long swim. Can we talk about taking Christmas just a bit too far? Uh-oh, getting pulled over. Someone decided that they're going to cover their whole car in bright lights. This happened in Wyoming. And now police in Wyoming are reminding residents you could decorate your home for Christmas instead of your vehicle. This is way too many lights. The Wyoming Highway Patrol is sharing a photo on social media of this Ford Mustang that got pulled over by a trooper who said this entire vehicle was decked out in colorful lights. And they want to remind everyone of the statute, which says this: no person shall drive or move any vehicle or equipment upon any highway with any lamp or device thereon capable of displaying a red or blue light visible from directly in front of the center thereof. It's a complicated way to say no red or blue lights. Only the police can have those. They say, well, decorating your car might look cool and be festive. They'd like to remind everyone it's illegal. Please stay safe while celebrating this holiday season. I can see why the person thought, ooh, this is going to look amazing, right? And you just forget that driver's book that you read when you had to take the test. Can't do that to your car. Yeah, busted for being just a little bit too festive. I do have some good news when it comes to overdose deaths in the United States. They fell 17% in just 1 year. Take away the festive light on the car and go to this story because this is a pretty big deal. There was new data released last week by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. They say it looks like between July of 2023 and July of 2024, about 94,000 people died of overdoses during that 12-month period. Sounds like a lot, but it's down from more than 113,000 deaths between July of 2022 and 23. It's the largest recorded reduction in overdose deaths ever. And they say it's no coincidence, this according to the White House Domestic Policy Council, that efforts to distribute the overdose reversal drug naloxone, it's the reason for a lot of these declines. As many as 500,000 overdoses were reversed in the United States thanks to this medication. And it's being handed out now, naloxone, often with prescription for opioid painkillers. So with your prescription comes the naloxone. It's also available over the counter now. So it's made a big difference, a big difference. They also think, in addition to naloxone, that policies to make addiction treatment more accessible contributed to the decline in these overdose deaths. They also say there's been an effort to crack down on drug production, including cooperation with China to stop the flow of these chemicals used to make fentanyl. So all of these things together create a 17% reduction of overdose deaths in 1 year. And thank goodness. I hope they can keep those numbers going in the right direction. It looks like cigarettes are going to be changing. I mean, I don't mind if we change them so we don't even sell them anymore, but the FDA is asking the Biden administration to reduce the nicotine content in tobacco products. It looks like a last-ditch effort to limit the harms of smoking before the term of President Biden ends. The rule is being proposed that would significantly lower the amount of nicotine in tobacco products. I don't know how much nicotine, how much they're going to cut it. They say, though, if it's done, it could be a game changer in the nation's efforts to eliminate tobacco use. That making tobacco products non-addictive would dramatically reduce the number of young people who become hooked when they are experimenting. Not all smokers, according to researchers, would quit if nicotine levels were limited. But they say to fully address the toll of tobacco on our nation's health and across all communities, it's critical to reduce nicotine levels to non-addictive levels in all commercial tobacco products, including e-cigarettes. And again, we've seen the number of cigarette smokers drop over the last 10 years, but smoking remains the leading cause of preventable death, disease, and disability, according to the CDC. More than 16 million Americans are living with a smoking-related disease. So why wouldn't we do this? Why wouldn't we take this step to cut the amount of nicotine in these? I mean, in my book, just cut it all together. But I'm not your nanny, and if you're going to smoke, you're going to smoke, right? But at least make it so it doesn't harm you so much. We'll see if they do it. I'm watching on that one. But speaking of smoking, there's a new study that shows phone-based coaching can help young people quit vaping. You wouldn't think that being on the phone would be enough, but a little coaching, a little support makes a big difference. There's new research published last week in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, and it shows that nearly half of a group of 18 to 24-year-olds were no longer vaping 3 months after they finished a quit program that included a combination of phone-based coaching, a health app, and nicotine replacement therapy. And the hope is, according to this researcher at the Ohio State University College of Public Health, that it's giving hope that young adult vapers want to quit and can be successful in breaking their addiction to nicotine. To do this study on this, they looked at more than 500 young adults recruited through social media. 80% of them almost vaped daily. They randomly assigned participants to one of 4 groups. They all received phone-based quit line coaching. The other 3 also got mailed nicotine replacement therapy, a mobile app offering text and video support, or a combination of everything. And 3 months after joining the study, results showed 45% of young adults were no longer vaping. And because of the high success rate overall, they can't say which of these groups had more success than the other. They don't know which one worked the best. But the fact that everyone got quit line coaching indicates that the phone-based support is a powerful option for vapers who want to quit. So look, good. Wonderful. I'm glad it works. The researchers were surprised, they say, to learn that most study participants would recommend quit line calls. They thought that young adults wouldn't really want to talk on the phone and that they would prefer text-based support. Not true. Not true. In 2020, nearly 1 in 4 young adults aged 18 to 20, and 14% of those 21 to 24 said they vaped. So it's a big problem, and it's important to get ahead of it if you can. All right, you ready for the lotto of the day? Let's do it. And this one is all about snacks. You know, sometimes you just need snacks for the football game. And when you're buying snacks, might as well buy that lottery ticket. That's what happened in South Carolina, where a man stopped to buy some snacks for a football game and bought this Powerball ticket that was a $1 million prize winner. Said he stopped at the Publix store to buy snacks for a football game that he had planned to watch on TV. And while at the store, he bought a ticket for the October 5th Powerball drawing. And he later learned that the first five numbers were matchers. He said it was crazy and it was wild. And he earned $1 million from this ticket, which he said he's going to save it for a nest egg. Now, that is smart. I read a story the other day, and I don't know if the numbers are accurate, but I heard that we need in California $2 million in the savings account in order to retire. And I guess live the life to which we've all become accustomed. So throwing that $1 million in your retirement account, pretty smart cookie. How about this story? OpenAI has released this controversial new video generation tool. It's called Sora Turbo. And it's a new video tool powered by AI. It's been available since last Monday, and apparently it makes it much easier and faster for people to generate high-def videos that last up to 20 seconds. OpenAI says, we're introducing our video generation technology to give society time to explore its possibilities and co-develop norms and safeguards that ensure it's used responsibly as the field of AI advances. They're hoping this early version of Sora will enable people everywhere to explore new forms of creativity, to tell their stories, to push boundaries of what's possible with video storytelling. Or are they making it easier to make deep fakes? I don't know. It's a storyboard tool that enables people to control the outcomes for every frame while adding text, images, or video. It gives you 2 community feeds providing new and continually updated content. Now, OpenAI says it'll block content that's illegal or highly controversial, like sexual style deepfake type stuff. The app, though, before it was even released to the public, people started criticizing it. Some experts say they have deep concern over how AI generated video can be used. Others are concerned with the legal issues about things like copyright. 20 artists had access to the Sora app last month. And apparently some opposed the Sora app in an open letter to AI. They accused the tech firm of using artists as a way to make the app appear more accepted in the global artist community. Here's what they said. Artists are not your unpaid R&D. They said, we are not your free bug testers, your PR puppets, your training data, or your validation tokens. They addressed the letter to the AI corporate overlords, and it included a leaked code for Sora. They said, we are being lured into art washing to tell the world that Sora is a useful tool for artists. So, controversial? Yes. Out in the world now? Yes. Does it mean we have to be very, very aware that what we're looking at may not be real? Yes. Another reminder. Take everything with a grain of salt. Everything. You don't know anymore whether the video you're looking at is legit. That's the future. Let's roll it back to the past. Look at that old train. That is one of the original Disneyland trains. It's on a ranch now in California on the Central Coast. And they're rolling them for Disneyland at Santa Margarita Ranch, where these old Disneyland trains have been kept since 2001. They first operated when the park opened in 1959. They were part of the original Disneyland Railroad. Then they were phased out in the 1960s, and again at Santa Margarita Ranch since 2001. Now, some of them have been restored to like new condition, so people are going to get to see what the train car looked like when it was new on Disneyland's opening day. They've got a 1940s diesel locomotive with open-air cars, an 1800s steam engine pulling Disneyland's historic train cars. It's a 2-mile ride that ends at Santa's Village, where live Christmas carolers, a magic show, pony rides, and Santa can be found for a photo. So this is all going on about 10 miles north of San Luis Obispo. And they say input from customers helped shape this year's event. They've expanded food truck offerings and they've added late afternoon train rides to accommodate families with little ones. They have a Christmas vendor marketplace, like a Christmas market. The cost is about $25 for kids and $40 for adults. But if you're on the Central Coast, it sounds like it could be something really fun to do. And again, you can look up Christmas at the Ranch, Santa Margarita Ranch, if you're in that area and it's something that you're interested in doing. There's a story that I found about the differences between humans, modern humans, us, and Neanderthals. I know I do a lot of it's not my intent to do a lot of Neanderthal stories, but I just find them so interesting. Really, really interesting. They now think, scientists, that Neanderthals were super strong, that they had explosive strength because their rib cages were bell-shaped. They think Neanderthals breathed differently from our species. This is a new reconstruction of the Neanderthal rib cage. They say that our extinct relatives may have been considerably chunkier in this area around the ribs, with the extra bulk providing devastating power that they needed to ambush and overcome their prey. So they were strong. They also think, after studying these Neanderthals and analyzing the thorax and upper torso, that they've learned more about their respiratory needs. And they think, because they have this barrel-shaped rib cage, it would have been ideal for the thoracic breathing needed to support endurance running, because these Neanderthals chased their prey over long distances. So they're thought to have typically possessed wider bell-shaped rib cages, giving them a thicker set body plan. And they think this frame has allowed for a larger respiratory system, which may have been suitable for different hunting strategies. So they maybe took shorter yet more intense bursts of energy. They think Neanderthals' roomier lower thoraces may have helped them retain their body heat, which is pretty important given that some of them lived in a pretty frosty area. So, kind of interesting. They breathed different and they had explosive strength. Cool. Here's a story that's also fascinating. A little sake from space. This is a Japanese sake maker going to space to make their sake brand Dasai. They're going to blast all the ingredients over to the International Space Station to ferment in what they call a very special brew. And if it works, just one 100 milliliter bottle will be offered for sale on Earth at 100 million yen, or about $653,000 for one bottle of space sake. A standard bottle is about 80 milliliters. Well, a standard serve is 80 milliliters, so it's expensive. They say there's no guarantee of 100% success for the fermentation test. The difference in gravity could affect how heat transfers in fluid, causing a different fermentation process in space than on Earth. So they're going to try to figure all this out. They have put together something called the Kibo experiment model, part of the International Space Station developed by Japan, where tests can be conducted in special microgravity environments. So, sake is made of Japanese rice, water, yeast, and koji, which is a type of mold. It takes on Earth about 2 months to make through a series of precise steps that involve steaming, stirring, and fermenting. Then it's sipped from a glass at many Japanese cultural occasions, from weddings to meals to restaurants. Just last week, sake landed a spot on UNESCO's list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So we'll see if it works. And I'm sure there's someone out there who wants to pay $653,000 for a bottle of space sake. The question is, do you drink it? And I don't know the answer. Not sure if you drink it or not. I have a story about treadmill running, and I don't know if anybody takes little short runs or runs on the treadmill. You get a brain boost from exercise. And the question is, for scientists, how long does that brain boost last? And now they think it could linger into the next day. They looked at middle-aged adults and seniors, and they said they performed better on memory tests even a full day after they had some moderate to vigorous physical activity. And that means anything that gets your heart rate up. Could be like taking a brisk walk, or having a dance party in your kitchen, or running up a flight of stairs. It doesn't have to be structured exercise like the treadmill. And the researchers from the University College of London's Institute of Epidemiology and Healthcare said the findings suggest short-term memory benefits of physical activity may last longer than previously thought, maybe to the next day instead of just a few hours after exercise. So look at that. People ages 50 to 84 did better on memory tests that they spent less time sitting the day before, or if they got 6 or more hours of sleep. Exercise is known, according to researchers, to provide a short-term brain boost by increasing blood flow to the brain and stimulating the release of neurochemicals that support many different cognitive functions. So now we know, instead of just lasting a few hours after exercise, maybe that boost lasts even longer because other brain states linked to exercise are more long-lasting. The evidence also suggests that exercise can enhance someone's mood for up to 24 hours as well. So, that exercise, so many reasons to do something. Dance around, make yourself get a little bit out of breath. Don't overdo it, but, do something. Okay, are you guys ready for it? It is the Hide in Your Cave Monday, because sometimes you just don't feel like coming out. And I will say that today I'm kind of interested in the Hide in Your Cave Monday, and in finding reasons not to come out of the cave. This is, and I don't think we've done this one before, at least I hope not, Sed Fairy Grottos in Germany. It is also called Fingroten, but it is in Germany, in the German state of Thuringia. This used to be mined for shale, this cave, and these fairy caves were largely forgotten after they were closed down in the mid-19th century. And then in 1910, they were rediscovered again. But they say, far from being a derelict old cave system, the fairy grottos developed stunning multicultural mineral deposits. Today, they say this rainbow-hued cave or set of caves are open to the public. They're accompanied above ground by the Fienwelchen Village, which is a family-friendly fantasy experience staffed by people dressed up as fairies and elves. They said top your visit off with a stop at the Grottonium, which is an interactive museum dedicated to this grotto's history. The Sed Fairy Grottos in Germany. I have more pictures. Here's another shot of the Sed Fairy Grottos. I'm looking for fairies in here. I don't see anything. Here's another one. It looks really special. Here's another one I've looked over in the past. It's the Puerto Princesa Underground River, and it is in the Philippines. So you'll have to go by boat. And there you see the opening. This is so exciting, this moment where you don't know what's inside the cave, where you're going. But look where they're going. That's pretty cool. Incredible. It's an underground river, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Puerto Princesa Underground River in Palawan, more than 30 million years old. It's described as eerie, spine tingling, and awe inspiring. This underground river is accessible by kayak, which allows you to absorb the experience in serenity. They say some of this cave is inaccessible because there's a lack of oxygen. But the first mile of it is open to everyone, and another 2.5 miles are accessible, but you have to have a special permit. So as you paddle along, they say you should keep an eye out for the cave's soaring ceilings. They stretch almost 250 feet high in some spots, and there are ancient fossils embedded in the walls. Yeah. The park surrounding the river is worth exploring too. There are several species of wildlife that can only be found in Palawan. So again, Puerto Princesa Underground River in the Philippines. So beautiful. Here's another picture of it. That's a soaring ceiling, all right. Incredible. You just look at those people and look at everything around them. It's just awe-inspiring is right. I found a couple of caves also in Colorado. This one is called the Glenwood Cavern. It is in Colorado, and it's now this commercial enterprise. These fairy caves, now a thriving tourist destination. It was a tourist destination in the 1890s. And this man named Charles Darrow and his family had a homestead at the top of Iron Mountain, which was right near this cave entrance. The caves were open to visitors in 1895, but back then they didn't really know the extent of the cave. They thought it was about 800 feet. Today, it has more than 16,000 known feet. When it opened, you could get to the trail by walking there or riding a horse or a burro. Now they have a historic fairy cave gondola called the Iron Mountain Tramway. It's pretty cool. These caves now, something different. They're called show caves, which I hadn't heard of a show cave before, but I guess they do different things here. It's another picture of it. And they'll light it up and show it off. So here's a show cave. They do these tours called the black light tours, where you walk through the cave holding a black light and you can see all these things illuminated because of it. They had a video, and I don't know if I can get to it, but one of the things they had was people drawing on the cave walls with markers that would show up on a black light. So I don't know how well they're taking care of the environment or how well they're actually preserving the cave. It's interesting, though. The cave was shut down for a long time because another owner would not grant any access to this cave. And this couple kept writing to them. They had gone to college together and met in college and gotten into spelunking. So they kept writing to this guy. They said almost all of the letters came back unopened and stamped return to sender. But they didn't stop. And after 10 years, this man finally relented and granted them permission to explore the caves. He ended up selling them the caves. And so now they have these black light tours and these cave tours. They also have rides. They have an amusement park outside of the cave. So as you're waiting to do your cave tour, you can go on all these rides. And the more people had to wait and the more people showed up, the more rides went up there. They said the wait for a tour was going on 3 hours. So they started putting rides in to give people something to do while they were waiting. And the idea took off and it launched the business in a new, unexpected direction. So now they have a mountaintop theme park with a Western history slant, and they have the cave tours as well. So there you go. That's the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park. Has been rolling on for a while. Also in Colorado is this cave. It's called the Cave of the Winds. I think this one's pretty cool. The Cave of the Winds in Colorado is pretty spectacular. Look at that picture. I have another shot of it as well. You can book a tour to the Cave of the Winds. It's pretty cool, right? It makes Hide in Your Cave Monday seem like something maybe that we'd want to do this. Yes, absolutely. They say it has spectacular scenery. They also have rides and attractions. And something they say to keep the family happy all year long, or the whole time you're there, right? They give you a pioneer package, mild to wild fun rides with fantastic views, mountain experiences, cave tours. There are 2 caves to choose from here. They'll take you on a tour to learn about the history and geology of the cave, see some of the beautiful formations. And then those who want something more daring and spooky, they say, can go on the lantern tour, which is an adventure into the mountains with only a handheld lantern to guide your way. They have all kinds of things going on here at the Cave of the Winds Mountain Park. The history books apparently show the Cave of the Winds as being discovered in 1881. The legends of over 1,000 years ago, though, show something completely different. The Jicarilla Apaches have a story about a cave near Manitou Springs where the great spirit of the wind resides. There were a couple of brothers, apparently, who went exploring for new caves in this area, and they say they discovered the Cave of the Winds, but we know that it was discovered many, many years before. They said as these 2 brothers approached the mouth of the limestone entrance, legend has it that their candles flickered mysteriously in the wind blowing from a nearby crevice. This signaled them to explore further, and when they crawled through the limestone archway, they discovered a large chamber unlike anything they'd ever seen before. And this discovery promised the Pickett brothers an amazing, dramatic, new underground world to explore, unlike anything that they had ever experienced. The Haunted Lantern Tour is pretty creepy. Nearly a mile of walking. You're navigating these dark, narrow tunnels and low passageways, uneven stairs, rooms with muddy original floors. But along the way, you get to learn the history of the cave and of the winds and the frightening folklore and scary ghost stories and unexplained phenomena that happen here at the Cave of the Winds. Here's another picture of it. Really beautiful formations. I love the color of this cave. The Cave of the Winds. So it looks like we've got some show caves where people are buying these caves, putting in a theme park up above, and then the cave becomes part of this adventure experience. Wow. From the Cave of the Winds to Glenwood Caverns to Puerto Princesa, the Underground River, to Seefeld Fairy Gardens, Fairy Grottos, rather. It is a good Hide in Your Cave Monday. There you go. I'm going to the chat, see what you guys are talking about over here. Somebody's telling some dad jokes. Very nice. Are you guys still talking about? Oh, I think I'm stuck way back when. Oh, Beth says the wind means there are at least 2 entrances. Interesting. Tammy says Florida Cavern State Park is really cool. Okay, I'm going to put it on my list. Maybe we'll do it next Monday. Florida Caverns. I'll check it out. Always looking for a good cave. It looks like my pillow under a microscope. I'm really hoping not. No. I don't think spelunking would be a ding word. Do you? Perhaps. I don't know. Don't use the black light at Mar-a-Lago. God knows what you'll find. That's true. Yikes. Beth says, I've been in caves in New Zealand where you ride a boat and see glowworms hanging from the ceilings. Very cool. As a matter of fact, it's interesting you mention it because we have already done the glow caves of New Zealand, and they're super, super cool. I don't know if I have a picture of it to show you or not, an old picture, but those caves are amazing. Magical, I would say, where it looks like you walk into the cave and you just see a million lights and it's all these worms. Yeah, the Waitomo Glow Caves. Here's a picture of it. Incredible, right? The glowworm caves. That had to be quite the experience. I'm so, so jealous that you went there and that I have not been there. Well, we went there virtually on the After Party Live, so there is that. But yeah, absolutely incredible. The Waitomo Glow Caves. Really, really special. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you went there. Love it. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Anything else on the caves? Where's the cave that they have concerts? I don't know. I'm interested. Let me know if you know. I'll look it up. Yeah. True Text says those crystals could break off like icicles. You want to be preemptive there. Oh, I think maybe you're talking about one of these other caves that we were looking at. Yeah. You don't want to get stabbed by a stalagmite or a stalactite, right? Yeah. Well, that is the show for today. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hiding in your cave, in one of these several caves with me today. Kind of fun to explore that. Tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show, David K. Johnston will be along and we will talk politics. And then tomorrow it's Travel Tuesday here on the After Party Live. So if you have somewhere you'd like to go, please let me know. And you can email me, kim@theafterparty.live. Thank you for subscribing to this show. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing the show. I had a problem over the weekend, a technical issue, and was not able to pull Tim Sika. Usually I pull his movie reviews and post it separately. So if you want to check that out, that is under videos on the After Party Live, and you can see Tim Sika's movie reviews from Friday. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay cozy, go out, make it a great day, and I'll see you back here on the YouTube tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I'm still working on it, my friend.